I've just finished watching the Nintendo E3 digital press release, and I have to say I'm a little bit disappointed, if I'm honest with you. Now, I don't know if that's because all the other press releases that I've watched the last few days have been absolutely mind-blowing. I don't know, I just expected more from Nintendo. Don't get me wrong, there were some top titles mentioned in the event, but I don't know. I felt they could have done a lot more. I felt they could have done an awful lot more. I mean, they led with Star Fox Zero. This game looks fantastic. I mean, I'm fairly new to the Star Fox franchise. I recently played and beat Star Fox 64. That's the first experience I've had of Star Fox. But this one looks fantastic. Graphically, it's beautiful. It looks absolutely stunning, and it takes advantage of the dual screen of the Wii U, where on the main TV you have the third-person view, which is standard from what I can see, from what I can understand from Star Fox. It's certainly third-person, the one I played, I'm sure it was. And then the actual gyro pad is a cockpit view with your target, so you could actually aim with the gyro pad. Now that's fantastic. I mean, that's putting their technology to fantastic use, and I was really impressed by that. It looks like a really interesting game, especially now your R-Wing actually transforms. They showed it transform into a walker, a landmaster, and a gyro wing, which really adds another level of gameplay to each level. So, obviously, you can reach different areas and do different things with simply by transforming your current vehicle. So looks good. I'd have liked to have. They showed quite a lot of gameplay, but I'd like to have a little bit more information on it. Whether it was going to be online, whether it was going to be single player only, whether it was going to have co-op missions. I'd like to have seen a lot more and a bit more information on it. But they never really gave any. They just showed what was. They just showed it what was coming. Then they talked about the dreaded amiibos. Now they're saying they're bringing out more amiibos and more games for the amiibos. I'm not a big fan of the whole amiibo thing. I see them as a massive cash cow. They just pump these things out and they charge ridiculous prices. Sure, there's a couple I want to get, but not for the prices that they're asking, and they're going on eBay for ridiculous prices. And I just don't see the point. And I know there's a fair few collectors out there who were going for whole sets and then ended up selling them because it just got out of hand and really quick. But saying that, the new game there's a new Skylanders game coming out on the Wii U, which has two exclusive amiibos stroke Skylanders, and that is the DK Skylander and the Bowser Skylander with their respective vehicles. Now, you can actually turn the base on these, so they will work on a Skylanders base, and then when you turn it to amiibo, it works as a normal amiibo. Now, this is just basically pushing that technology a bit more, and it makes them dual purpose, which means I suppose you get double the fun for your money you pay. But again, same with Skylanders and Disney Infinity, it's just one big massive cash cow, isn't it? You just keep pumping money into these games. So yeah, it looked good though. Graphically, it looked good, and the Magma Bowser looked pretty fun when you transform him. So I linked the gameplay to the Skylanders actually, because it did look like it would be a fun game. It's just I don't know. It's almost like microtransactions, but these aren't really that micro. They're not, you're on 69p to unlock extra levels. This is like you drop down 13, 14 quid to add a new dimension to a game. And I don't know, I just think it takes your £40 game or your £60 game, depending on how much they're going to do the starter kits for Skylanders. And by the time you finish, because I mean, let's face it, they're not just going to keep the DK and Bowser, rather they're going to release a Mario for Skylanders. It's pretty much inevitable. By the time you've brought all the other amiibos that they're probably going to release for it, you're probably looking at another £40 to £60 at least. And now, no, it's not. It doesn't sit right with me somewhat for some reason. It just doesn't sit right. But it's a direction they're going in, and there's nothing we can do about it. Nintendo have got so many fans out there who buy these things. It's understandable why they're doing this. I mean, it has taken off in a big way, but like I said, for me, nah, amiibos aren't for me. They then demoed a game coming out on the 3DS called Zelda Triforce Heroes. Now this looks really fun. This is a true multiplayer Zelda where you can play with you and two friends. One plays as Green Link, one plays as Red Link, one plays as Blue Link, and you have to use different outfits to solve different puzzles and go through dungeons, and you need all three of you to do this, and you can stack yourself up in like a totem to reach higher places or to hit buttons that you can't reach on your own. This looks really fun, actually. It's a 2.5D co-op game, and you can play it single player where you play as Green Link and the other two are replaced by dolls, and you switch between the ones you want to do to get past certain points. It looks a whole heap of fun. It looks like I'm a massive Zelda fan. I don't currently own a 3DS. Handhelds aren't usually my thing. I've got a PSP for the JRPGs that are on it, and it was cheap. And I've got a DSi, but I haven't got a 3DS. And this is the game that will make me buy one, if I'm honest. It looks so much fun. It looks like I'm going to definitely link the gameplay to the Zelda. That's because it looks brilliant. Again, it's one of my favourite franchises. I love the Ocarina of Time. I loved every single Zelda game. So Wind Waker I actually liked as well. And I played Zeldas when I was younger, but it was really the Ocarina of Time that got me into it. It was when I started puzzling it out when I got and really enjoying those sort of games. So I'm really excited to see more of this. And again, it left you wanting more. They sort of gave you a taster and it made you want more. And they also showed Hyrule Warriors on the 3DS. Now this looks quite good as well. I'm a big Dynasty Warriors fan, and I know it's based off that engine. But the 3DS version of Hyrule Warriors is going to include all the Wii U DLC and characters, as well as adding the Wind Waker stages and characters. And that's coming out first quarter next year. So again, quite excited to see what's going on there. And I'd like to have seen a lot more. And then this is when it really, for me, it started to go downhill for Nintendo. Now, before they announced the Zelda, they said that in 2016's E3 they're going to announce the next project that they're working on. And I'm worrying that they're kind of abandoning the Wii U, and that's why they've done it how they've done it. I'm really, really hoping I'm wrong on this, because I think the Wii U's got an awful lot of potential and an awful lot of life left in it. And we're going to have to wait till E3 2016 to see what that announcement is, obviously. But I'm really hoping that they're not moving on too fast, if that makes sense. I'd like to see another few years of the Wii U, to be honest with you, because I think the potential is there for it. The next game they showed was Metroid Prime Federation Force. And now all it came up with was a little bit of gameplay with its 4-player co-op missions. I'd have loved to have seen more of that. I'm a massive Metroid Prime fan, and I love the series, and I just don't know. I kind of like, it was almost like someone offered you a bag of sweets and then took it off you. It's like, well, that was fun while it lasted. I don't know. I'd like to have seen a lot more gameplay and a lot more explanation on what we can expect. They also showed that the Blast Ball game that they used for the Nintendo World Championships is actually Metroid Prime Blast Ball, which is obviously the 3 versus 3 ball game that we saw, and that's coming next year as well. But again, although we saw it at the World Championships, they didn't expand on that. They just basically showed a little bit of gameplay and moved on. It was like they were trying to get as much as they could in. The next one they showed was Fire Emblem Fates. This looks really, really good. It looks like a turn-based JRPG, which is coming next year as well. They sort of showed some gameplay of it, and it looked fantastic. And then it just went a bit weird. They had some like J-pop playing in the background, and they did like this whole sort of gameplay montage. But it looks so much fun. Really, really want to try it out. Really wanted to, and again, it's one of those ones that I wanted more info on. They just didn't seem to be giving me personally the info on. I use E3 every year to decide where my money's going in terms of, not in terms of companies, because I always buy stuff from everywhere because I'm a gamer. I'm not a fanboy. I used to be a Sega fanboy. Sega no longer produce consoles, so my money goes everywhere. But last year's E3, none of them did anything for me to make me want to go next gen. And every year I use it to decide what I'm going to buy or if I'm going to buy. And Nintendo just, although they were giving me teasers of stuff that looked like it'd be right up my street, I'm a massive RPG fan. Hence my reaction to Final Fantasy VII. But enough about that. I just wanted more info. I wanted more gameplay, more structure. Now, whether that's because it's not that far in development yet, that's fine. But at least let us know a little bit more information on the product that you're trying to get us to buy. The next game, definitely up my street, Xenoblade Chronicles. Looked phenomenal, and it's due out December this year. And it come up with the Earth's been destroyed basically, and you're marooned on a new planet, and human race has new challenges to survive. That's all they said about it. But the gameplay they showed looked amazing, and I cannot wait to see more on this, and I'm hoping there's going to be more coming soon, because it's out at the end of this year. So I really can't wait to see that, and I want to see more gameplay on that. Nintendo, please, please, please show us more gameplay on Xenoblade Chronicles. They moved over then to Animal Crossing Happy Home Designer. It's basically an Animal Crossing version of Sims by the looks of it. It's on the 3DS. Very cutesy, very colourful. Looks like it's something my kids would enjoy. But again, that's all they said on it. It's all it was. It was a quick 30-second, 1-minute demo. And then they moved on to the Wii U version. Well, I say the Wii U version, the new Wii U Animal Crossing game, which is the Amiibo Festival. Basically, to me, it looks like a board game that you play with up to 4 players using Amiibos. It's those dreaded Amiibos again, guys. I don't know what to say about them, to be honest with you. They just seem to be everywhere at the minute, and it's just, again, it's another cash cow, isn't it? Because they said that each player, according to the little dialogue at the bottom of the screen, each player needs a separate Amiibo. So I've got myself and 3 children could play that, but it's going to cost me the price of this game plus 4 Amiibos. That's already, it's ridiculous. But anyway, so yeah, graphically it just looked like a cutesy board game, and I think again it's something that my kids will enjoy. They then moved on to a really interesting game, Yoshi's Woolly World. Now, I don't know what it is with wall-based games. We've had Kirby's Epic Yarn, which was wall-based. We've had the one with Yarny that was released, that was announced this week. Again, based on Yarn. And now we've got Yoshi's Woolly World, and you can use Yoshi too. And because he's made a wall, you can eat the enemies and you can transform yourself. And they're going to bring out, you guessed it, an Amiibo, but this time it's going to be a plushie Amiibo. Woohoo! Bloody Amiibos. There's co-op in there, which looks pretty cool, and I'm going to mention them again because they mentioned them. It's coming out in October this year, and you can use Amiibos, and Yoshi will take on the skin of that Amiibo. So you'll have a Yoshi-shaped Mario, wool Mario, if you use a Mario Amiibo. Kind of fun, I suppose, if you've got Amiibos, but it adds nothing to the game. It just gives your character a new skin. So, why would you bother? Just my opinion again. Like I said, I'm not Nintendo bashing. I actually really like Nintendo. I'm a massive fan of some of their franchises, like Mario, obviously, Mario Kart, Zelda. It's just, I just think Amiibos are just ruining it for me personally. A game that did look pretty good was, I'm going to murder this name now, Yokai Watch. And basically you befriend and look for these things called yokais, and you use them to fight and basically protect and save this town by the looks of it. It looks a bit like a Pokemon clone, but it looks pretty cool, to be fair. And that's coming this year as well. I'd like to have seen more on that, if I'm honest, Nintendo. I'd have liked to have seen a lot more on that. Again, it was just basically showing us release dates, and it showed us that they're obviously close to being finished because it's coming out this year. So I'd like to have seen a bit more gameplay, maybe like a proper gameplay demo with someone actually playing it. But no, that didn't come at all. But again, it looks really, really interesting. I'm going to do some more research on it, to be honest with you. I'm going to look around and see if there's any more gameplay footage on YouTube and on the internet. But this video is literally just about this is my opinions on Nintendo's digital release. Another good game that's coming out next year on the 3DS is Mario and Luigi Paper Jam. It's a crossover game where worlds collide, so you've got Paper Mario and 3D Mario, and you play as all of them at the same time, and it looks really, really fun. It looks like you can have, there's a lot of puzzling involved where you can use Paper Mario to slip down the cracks and 3D Mario to do other things, and vice versa, so they all have their strengths and they all have their weaknesses. Once again, guys, I know I'm sounding like a broken record, but this should have been shown more. It just should have been that it had so much potential. Is it a party games? It looks like it could be just party games, or is it an actual 3D platformer? Nothing was said, nothing was given in gold. It's almost like we're expected just to trust Nintendo that this is going to be a great game, which it probably is, because it's a Mario game, and all Mario games end up being good. Simple. However, I would have liked to have seen more, and I'd have liked more information on it. There's a new Mario Tennis Ultra Smash coming out to the Wii U. Again, they just show gameplay, but I can understand just showing gameplay on this because it's a tennis game and we've all played Mario Tennis. It's a bit of fun. It's something, again, that I'd buy so me and the kids could have a game together. Now, they alluded to the next game through the whole entire press conference, going, the cutscenes to each one was alluding to this next game. And we also saw it at the Nintendo World Championships. It was actually the final game that they had to do to win the World Championship, and that was Super Mario Maker. Now this looks like a whole heap of fun. Basically, you can build and share your own levels, and you can make them as easy or as difficult as possible. You can stack enemies, you can put enemies underwater that are not supposed to be underwater in normal games. You can, basically, the world is your oyster here. You can make, I mean, if you saw the Nintendo World Championships, the levels they designed were rock hard. But from what you can do on it, you can even make levels that are even harder than that. So much fun. But again, it's got amiibo support, which is understandable. It's going to be a massive game. You can put a mystery mushroom in there, and if you use your amiibo and get a mystery mushroom, it will change Mario into that amiibo. So if you've got a Link amiibo, sorry. If you've got a Link amiibo, you can get the mystery mushroom and play Mario as Link. They're also going to, because it's the 30th anniversary of Super Mario Brothers, they're going to release an 8-bit amiibo. Now, don't get me wrong, this amiibo does look cool, but again, it's an amiibo. And that makes your Mario huge in Super Mario Maker. But again, it's due to come out September the 11th this year. It's Mario Maker, and it comes with a booklet, really well presented. They started strong and they finished strong, Nintendo did. It was the middle that disappointed me. It was almost like they wanted to show release dates and nothing but release dates. They didn't want to give us any information on the actual products that they were doing. Everything seemed to centre around amiibos for me, and that's a big down point. I just felt they could have been stronger. Mario Maker, Zelda Triforce Heroes, and the new Star Fox, fantastic. The rest was much of the same as what we've already got out there, to be fair. I mean, there's games out there that are really piquing my interest. Xenoblade Chronicles, would have liked to have seen more. Fire Emblem, would have liked to have seen more. But again, these are just my opinions, guys, and it's just my reaction to E3 now. I've got a feeling that a lot of this sort of negativity towards Nintendo, if you want to put it that way, is solely because the Microsoft and the Sony one was so good. They basically, I watched both of those press conferences, and at the end of each one I was like, shut up and take my money. I have it now. I mean, I've even promised to sell a kidney for a PlayStation 4, for crying out loud. But with Nintendo, I was just left feeling a bit flat and deflated. Some great games coming up, and Nintendo will always be around, and they'll always have a place in my heart. I mean, they're the creator of the platform game in Super Mario, which is a genre of game that I absolutely love. They have one of the best franchises in the world in Zelda, and another thing that I absolutely love. I hope next year they do better. So until next time, guys, take care.